Okay, what's going on YouTube? This is PNG Media News here, back at you with another edition of the Concrete and Steel Chicago. I mean, Concrete and Steel Chronicles. A lot of you all have been asking me when am I going to do some videos about Chicago. So I got a real deal Chicago vet here. Going to tell you all about the streets of Chicago, about the Black Peace Stone Nation, as well as some other things. You know, you probably already familiar with this brother because he has a nice channel, the G Shrimp Show. You know, we're gonna get into all that. So, brother Shrimp, tell the people a little
Yes,
bit
sir.
about yourself.
Hey, how you doing, man? My name is G Shrimp, man. How you feeling?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. So, okay, what does the G stand? What is that for?
Oh, the G stands for general, right?
General. Okay. Okay. So now, when you say general, that's like a
It's just like the army, right? And so
okay.
I'm the general of this area where I'm at, which is all in that area.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
No, you buffering. It keeps freezing up.
Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that because I couldn't hear you, but it ain't circling on my screen. Is it?
Okay. All right. So you're saying you're a general in your particular organization. Now, which organization is that?
Yeah, Black Peace Stone, Black Peace
Okay,
Stone
Black
Rangers.
Peace Stone. All right.
Right.
So give the people who don't know, like people who are outside of Chicago, what is the Black Peace Stone Nation? What's their whole origins and history?
Well, Black Peace Stone's been around a long time, way even before I was born. I can't say started by Jeff Ford, but he was one of the most popular leaders, Jeff Ford, and they had changed the name at one point in time to the L. Rookins,
Mm-hmm.
and then they went on the political side for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Then Chief got in trouble with that, and then we went back to the original name, Black Peace Stone. It stands for Black Peace Stone Rangers. That's what the peace stands for, peace, though.
Okay.
Black Peace Rangers.
Okay. Now, one time were they ever the Blackstone Rangers?
Yeah, that's the same thing.
Okay.
Sometimes the Blackstone Rangers and the Black Peace Stone Rangers are the same thing. Sometimes they just take the P out of them. They might say Blackstone Rangers, but it's really Black Peace Stone Rangers.
Okay. And, and so in the mix of the Chicago gangs, like where would the Black Peace Stone Nation be? Are they like one of the larger gangs or most well known? Where do they fall on that whole spectrum?
Yeah, I won't say the largest, but probably close to the largest. And if definitely is anything, it's the most organized one. I will tell you that.
Okay. All right. And okay, so in Chicago, how does things work? You know, you got a lot of gangs. You got Stones, Vice Lords, Gangster Disciples, Black Disciples.
Yeah,
How does
yeah.
this? How do these gangs organize themselves? Is there like one hierarchy, or how does it work?
Yeah, well, it organized according to who the general and who in charge. Like for
Okay.
instance, I'm the general over here, right?
Mhm.
That means when I moved over here, well, I won't say when I first moved, but when I started growing up over here, we are the first set of Blackstones over here,
Okay.
and every other block and stuff got their own little territory. And a
Mhm.
lot of people be thinking you go out and join a gang like this and that. Okay, like I started this over here, 9 Stones over here, right?
Mhm.
So that means anybody else that move over here, when they grow up, they either go ride with us or they not gonna be in the neighborhood. So a
Mhm.
lot of times these kids, they don't really have a choice of what gang they go be in. It goes by what area they live in. You
Okay.
feel me?
All right. All right. And okay, so say so you got Stones of where from where you are. Now, what if you're
Mhm.
Stones from another neighborhood? Are y'all
Yeah,
still
we get along.
automatically? Y'all don't?
Yeah, we clicked in. We
Oh, you
clicked
do?
in from every neighborhood. Like, okay, say this area, this 73rd Street.
Mhm.
If you're Stone from 55th, we probably gonna know you. Anywhere Stones is, we all mess with each other.
Okay.
We get along because when you moving around through the street, you ain't going to hang with other gangs at. You going to hang where your gang at. So we
Okay.
might ride down 55th, hang on their block, go over here to Terrortown, go over here to Foster Park, and anywhere the Stones at is where we be hanging at.
All
You
right.
know.
Okay. But so I guess so is it safe to look at like the Black Keystone Nation is one nation, but they have their each individual leaders with one like king at the top, being Chief Malik, he's at the top, but
Yes, sir.
Terrortown Mo is had your own general, 73rd Street Moes had their own general, kind of like that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, gotcha. Now, I often hear this term Mo. What did that mean and where did that come about? Like I've heard of like
Yeah, it's
Motown.
just something. Yeah, no, it's just a new term they come up with. It really still just means stone. And I
Okay.
don't know, we just start calling each other the moles. You know, I can't even tell you where it picked from or whatever. They just start calling each other moles and they kind of stuck, you
Hmm.
know. But basically, we stones, and you might hear terms like stone run it, you know, and you might hear somebody say, "What's up, Mo?" You know, it's just other little slang we use. That's all.
All right. All right. Now, can you talk a little bit about this? Now, I've heard that there's something called like the 5 Point Nation, where you got these different gangs. Y'all are one of the five, and other gangs one of the six. Can you talk about that and how did that kind of alliance come about?
Yeah, you said it's what? Say it again. I didn't get that.
Well, like I've heard, like okay, you got like the 5 Point Nation, where you may have different gangs, totally different gangs, like Stones, Vice Lords, Latin Kings. They run under the five, and same thing with six. Well, People Nation actually, and the Folk Nation, where you may have GDs, Triple L's, you run under the six. How did that whole alliance come about, where you had all these different gangs
Well,
mutually?
I think you're probably speaking from a prison standpoint, right?
Okay,
Because they only do stuff like that in prison. Like
okay,
at some of these penitentiaries, right? The white boys is so strong, right?
mhm,
That the brothers have to stick together. So it don't matter what gang you in. It's like black pride. So they are all getting under that umbrella and just roll together. That's probably what you referring to. On the street, I ain't never heard it done like that, you know, unless you speaking of back in the day when Jeff Ford started out, he had a group what he called became individual gang leaders on their own. You know,
okay,
that's where the Mickey Cobwells come from. That's Mickey Cobwell Stones. You know,
mhm,
we had all the guys in that organization.
okay. Was that the main 21?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. All right. So tell me a little bit about the penitentiary. So when you go in, like what era like did you come up in? Like 80s, 90s? What was your era?
Yeah, I come up like in the 90s. Like I
Like in the
said, it said
90s.
90s. Yeah.
Okay. So what was
'Cause
it
I went
like?
to high school in 87.
Oh, okay. All right. So in that era, what was it like? Like as far as banging, were people more organized? You had to get permission to do stuff? Unlike today, where people just doing their own thing. What was it like in your era?
It's more organized in my era. You know, it's more organized. You know, we don't just like a lot of people we think we just into it all the time. Sometimes you have some summers where it might be peaceful, and we don't just necessarily want to break the peace unless we got to.
Mhm.
So people might be doing their thing and get along, but it's always wartime, right? So the problem comes when two opposite gangs meet at the same gas station and they might have some words with each other. And before you know it, if somebody gets shot or beat up, that then you got shooting all summer. But
Mhm.
if problems all summer, you know, that rarely seldom happen when you don't have no problem, but it's always something going on. And like in the 90s, you know, we always stuck together and we was organized, right? So if I had a problem down here and I feel like I'm overwhelmed, I could call for assistance. I'll call another deck. Hey, I need y'all to send me some guys down here. Woo, woo, woo. And
Mhm.
you know, they'll do what you need them to do.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now you mentioned like the penitentiary. So when you were going
Mm-hmm.
like in the 90s, like well, first of all, let's talk about Cook County Jail. Back in your
Mm-hmm.
day, you a stone, you going to Cook County Jail. What's the protocol? How do you find your
Yeah.
people? How did that work?
Oh, they waiting on you when you get there. They waiting on you when you get there. When you get to the county jail, right? You come in and less showers a week in the county jail, right? So
Okay.
they know you've been at the police station 2, 3 days. You probably not gonna smell good. So when you walk through the doors, it don't matter if it's 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, whatever it is. When you walk through the door, they go say, "You hooked up, man," and you say, "Yeah, I'm a Black Peace Stone." They might say, "Hey, Shrimp, this one of yours." One of my guys will come to me, give me some soap, shower shoes, and saying, "Take a shower, Mo." And then I go take the shower, come out, you smoke. No, I don't smoke. You hungry? Yeah, give me something to eat like that, and you know, and so on. It's like that. They be waiting on you, so you ain't gonna have no problem finding your own people. because they gonna be looking out for you anyway.
And then now, how does it work? Where so you got so many different sets of stones, y'all in Cook County Jail. How is it decided who's the main guy calling the shots? You know, because you
Well,
got
basically, who got the juice? But who got the juice on the deck? Let's say I come in there, and I'm a general, right? If I come on the deck and it ain't no other generals on there, and ain't nobody else on there that's running the deck, I'm gonna take over and run the deck. Now I stay in charge until I either leave or I look at some of the other guys and say, hey man, I'm gonna put you in charge. I might pick one of the little guys and put him in charge. And he got to stand on it and make sure law is ran and do it how he's supposed to do it.
Okay.
You know?
Now, what if you come in and say it's like you a general, I'm a general? How does that decide who's the man? You know, who runs it?
Basically, who got the most seniority? Or the generals are never gonna collide. You know what I mean? The generals ain't never collide. When I get on the deck as another general, me and him go have a private conversation. I said, "What's going on over here, G?" He'll be like, "Man, these guys, they be doing this, they be doing that. They don't want to listen to me, man." I said, "Okay, well, I'm gonna take over. Don't worry about it. I got it." And I'll let him fall back. And because if they not obeying him, I'll get on it. And you know, I might be a little rougher than he is, because some of us laid back and some of us not, you know. So, you know, I might have to come in and, hey man, what did you say y'all been doing? Woo? Hey, then you know you ain't supposed to play cards on Sunday, man. You know, Friday before service, you know, small like that, get on, get people in shape. And, you know, they trust me, one thing about our little nation, man, they stand on the law though. If we give them an order, they go do it. But sometimes, you know, these young boys, they'll try you. They'll try you, but you have to just stand on them.
Okay.
And then that goes to the old saying, ain't nobody bigger than law. Ain't nobody bigger than the mob. You'll hear that a lot. Nobody bigger than the mob.
Okay, gotcha.
And you definitely don't want to go against the grain when you're in jail, because you gonna need these people.
Okay. And that protocol is the same when you go to the penitentiary. Is it you stick more with your particular group, like the Stones, or if you also under the five, like the Vice Lords, y'all come as one, or you still kind of stay separate when you go to the penitentiary?
Yeah, when we under the first go have their own situation go along. They go stick with the Vice Lords, the gang them, but you know, we have our own pride. Nobody else get them out to move around for a minute.
Okay. Yeah, can you repeat that because you had froze up?
Yeah. So I said when you're in the county, I forgot what we was just talking
No, I was
about,
saying when you
man.
go to the penitentiary, how do you all form up like the different people, like the different gangs in the People Nation? Do they become one in the penitentiary, or they still
No,
the
oh,
penitentiary?
that's what we talking about. No, they don't never become one. They you go stick with your people. Like if I get down there, I'm gonna find all the stones, and we go all rotate together. Now it's different parts of the penitentiary. We all might not live in the same unit. So if it's 5 stones on that unit, I'm gonna demonstrate with them. And when we go to the yard, we demonstrate with the rest of them. And we'll just do it like that. Sometime it get more. You might have 5. Next month we might have 7 or 8. For you know, you have 10. And we all go stick together. And the Vice Lords, they go do their own thing. We go do ours. And then one thing I meant to say about the county jail too, right? If you ever wonder why all these gangs can form under one roof and not have no problem, we got to rule what they say in the county and the penitentiary. What happened on the street, stay on the street. So you can't come in here talking about, man, I'm still into it with him because of something that happened on the street. No, we ain't not in that. If it happened in here, though, we are right about what happened in here. But something that happened on the street, you got to let that go, bro. You got to let it go for a minute.
Okay, gotcha. All right. So coming up in like through the '90s when you were incarcerated, what did you have any experiences like with racial where all y'all had to come together to fight whites or Hispanics or anything like that?
No, I think I never heard about that, but I never dealt with that situation. I never had that problem because I was mostly in minimum security joints, and it
Okay.
wasn't like that. You know, you might have a few racial guards, but it was not like the race riots. Like that's normally going on in Pontiac and Menard, where them
Okay.
people got life. The life was like that. That's where they come under. All the gangs come under one umbrella, and they just black. And it don't matter what gang you in, you black, and y'all enemies is the white people. Period. The white gangs I'm talking about, not the police. The right gangs.
Okay.
Mhm.
Now, early on, you mentioned a term, El Rukn. Can you talk a little
Mhm.
bit more like that? From my understanding, they were kind of like Islamic. So you can talk about that whole thing.
Yes, yes, sir. The El Rukn is like it was a term that Jeff Ford had come up with, right? And
Mhm.
he made it like a non-for-profit organization, and it was like political, right? And he was able to take donations and all that, and they all drew up under Islam. Now they riding under Moes'S Temple of America.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's what he used to call it. That's kind of old slang now too. L. Wilkins. That's when we had the building down there, the fort that used to be on 39th and Drexel, and
Mhm.
all the guys used to go down there, and they have big meetings down there. They have parties on Fridays, and it was just a lot going on, man. You
Mhm.
know.
So if I was a member of Black Keystone Nation, I was welcome to come to the fort with the El Rukns.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And you know what else is crazy? If you was a gangster, you could come too. Because
Really?
remember, we black peace stone ranchers, right? So
Mhm.
they was like this. Long as you come in peace, you can come. So we used to have parties. When I was young, I used to go there. I was 17, 18. I used to go in there and I used to always wonder, why y'all letting all the folks in here? They
Mhm.
in there with their head out to the right and throwing their gangs up. And I was young, man. I'm wild. I'm like, hey, man, I'm going to knock him out.
Mhm.
And they like, no, you ain't, little bro. Fall back. No, he got permission to be in here. They just partying.
Okay.
But the El Rukns had so much respect. People would party in there, but never was no disrespect.
Mhm.
Never.
Right.
Never
Right.
was no disrespect.
Right. Because wasn't that fort kind of like in folk territory? Wasn't it over there on 39th Street?
Yes, yes. All that whole area down there, it was all folks' territory because all them projects down there, from
Right.
Persian Road all the way from 39th and Drexel, all the way to the lake, from not the lake, all the way to state. His
Mhm.
projects down through there.
Right.
I used to
And
hang down there.
and none of the folks ever bothered the fort or nothing like that.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. Oh
Wow.
man, they knew better. They knew
Okay.
better. And then I guess, and I won't even say it just like that. I think it was the fact that we showed them so much respect, they never showed us no disrespect. Put it
Okay.
like that.
Okay.
Yeah, and plus they know the Blackstone was a fort to be reckoned with. This
Mhm.
ain't nothing you want to really just start a war with for nothing.
Mhm.
And then some of the high up gangsters be like, hey, boy, don't do that.
Mhm.
So they all kind of, got along down there. I never
Okay.
heard of a problem with the gangsters down there from the fort. They never had a problem.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. So let me ask you this: what happened to the from the way things were organized and people carried themselves in your generation to the nonsense and chaos we see now? How did that all come about? Where did things start to break down and decay?
Well, I won't say it's even broke down in decay. The streets just evolving. It's just getting wilder.
Mhm.
It ain't really no difference. But y'all see the difference. It seemed like that because you see a lot of killing, right?
Mhm.
But even in our time, you go back to what it was always about retaliation. You
Mhm.
know what I mean? So if somebody burn up one of my cars, we go burn up somebody's car. If they burn up a house, we go burn up a house, and so on and so on. So fast forward today, these young kids, only thing they have to retaliate against is murder
Mhm.
because their friend just got killed.
Mhm.
So they got to get that back. And I hate to say it like this body for body.
Mhm.
And that's why you hear them say, you kill my dog, I'm gonna slay your cat. They mean that. And I done had a situation where a guy, a friend of ours, got killed. And I'm got a little older now, so I knew some of the other people over there, and they wanted to talk. I just asked my little guys, I said, man, they want to sit down and talk. What y'all want to do? They like, hell no, G. We got to have our body back.
Mhm.
And I'm like, y'all want to think about it? He like, no. He said, y'all ain't never squashed nothing, did you, G? I said, no. He said, all right, we ain't squashing nothing. I'm like, okay, all well, do your thing, you know? And you know what's crazy, Mo? I was like that too. These young boys, man, they have no fear, man. They have no fear. When you young, man, you be so buck wild, and it's like you don't think you could die. And even if they die, they not worried and scared because they ready. They ready.
Okay. Okay. All right. So, so, so let's talk about you today. What's going on with defense today?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm more laid back, man. And now I done got into this YouTube,
Okay.
and that's what I be doing. I done got into this YouTube. The name of my show is the G Shrimp Show, live from Chiraq. Y'all can catch that on YouTube. And you want to ever hear some of the stories about me, y'all tap into that and subscribe to that channel. But yeah, see, and then a lot of people, you never grow out the game, man. I mean, you never get out the game. You kind of grow out it, right? Because you get grown. When you get older, you start doing grown folks things and moving around. You got a job, and you really don't have to worry too much because the older you get, the bigger your little soldiers get.
Right.
And now they the one in war controlling everything. I'm able to sit back, put my feet up. So they only call me when they need me or advice or something like that. Other than that, they handle it all. If I got a problem, I can call them. Hey man, I need y'all to go woo woo, woo, and they on top of it. And if they got a
Okay.
problem, they'll call me, AG, can you do such and such? The only time they really need the OG is if they get into it with some more stones or somebody and they general around. And if he my age, then they know, okay, we got to go get the OG for this OG, you know.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So is it safe to say, so is that structure still in place then, where you have the hierarchy, the generals and all that type of stuff, the muftis and all that?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay. Okay.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's still in place. But what these young boys do, and a little different, what they try to do
Mm.
is they got gangs inside of gangs now.
Mm.
That's basically a little clique. So
Right.
it might be these all stones, right? But you might have a clique of them of seven, and they call themselves something like, I'm just using it for example, No Sleep Gang. And
Mm.
then on No Sleep Gang, a roll by themselves and do what they need to do, and they only doing that so they don't have to follow no rules. You know what I mean? Don't Can't nobody tell me nothing. I'm No Sleep Gang. You might can play that game a little while, but when you get in jail or you run across the real generals like myself or something, you gonna have to answer that.
Okay. Man, you froze up. That was good stuff, but you froze
Answer
up. So
to
you're
that.
saying inside of gangs, we have a clique like the no sleep gang. And inside of them, you still may have another gang inside of that gang.
One gang inside one other gang. Like I said, we Blackstone Rangers, right?
Hmm.
Young boys calling themselves No Sleep Gang.
Okay.
Again,
Gotcha.
yeah, so they'll be in that, but it's just a click though. They ain't trying to do too much.
Okay. Okay. Well, all right, brother. That was some real good history. I'm gonna end here because we had a connection problem. So, but
Is that
man,
my connection breaking up or yours?
I don't know. It's coming from one because yours keep freezing. Like I'll hear bits and pieces of it. They're only doing it sometimes. But the bulk of the interview
Yeah.
I was able to get. But man, bro, I really appreciate you coming on. I know this interview was a long time in the making. I'm glad we finally,
Yeah, yeah.
had it because people have been asking me when I'm
Mhm.
up to Chicago
Yeah,
people.
we,
So I know you
we'll
the
be able
real
to do it
deal.
again, man.
Oh,
Yeah, so we'll be able to do it again, man. You just call me. You might come on my platform.
I love to.
Yeah, you can come on my platform,
All right,
man. And like I say, man, let them people know name of my show is the G Shrimp Show, live from Chiraq. That's on YouTube, and you can't miss it.
definitely. So there you have YouTube, real Chicago veteran of the Chiraq Street. You know, the G Show live from Chiraq. Check the brother out. He got a lot of fascinating stories. So until next time, this has been another edition of the Concrete and Steel Chronicles. Until next time, take care.